Welcome back to Speak What's Needed. We're in a mini series called Forged in the Fire, and this is episode 5. Title of this episode is Faith in the Middle of Uncertainty. Hey man, this one's gonna be a good one. Cause man, that one of the hardest things in life is not the pain itself, it's not knowing how things are gonna unfold. And so today I want to talk about trusting in God in uncertainty. So man, going back like into like my story about dealing with the divorce. If you ain't already know by now, this entire mini series is about me dealing with the divorce. It's me and my personal journey through the divorce. I'm not talking about the facts of the case, not talking about none of that stuff. So don't think you're gonna get drama or anything from this. I mean, you definitely could make a TV show off of this. It's off the chain. But that's not what this series is about. So trusting in God in the middle of uncertainty. Boy, this a deep one here, cause just like I'm right now I'm just reflecting back on just everything that has happened, like from where I was to where I'm at now, and it's like a night and day thing, and I truly thank God for it, cause I don't know where I'd be if I just didn't just trust in Him, having that faith that He's gonna provide, that He's gonna move on my behalf, and all those good things. But like, man, I don't even know what to start it. I guess I started at the beginning. Man, back at the event I keep always referencing, like the bombshell event of me finding out everything, and like just after all that happened, like just that, yeah, okay, I know where I'm going at now. So just after all that happened and me having to decline my offer from the police department, and that was like my plan to, like, once I get out the military, that was like my plan and stuff that I was setting up. And for me to have, like, all my plans just gone, and really didn't have, I didn't know what to do next. I'm like, either I get out the military or I stay in the military. And I just been wrestling with that for a minute, and just praying, asking God, where does He want me to go? Like, which direction you want me to take? Man, you gonna have to tell me something. I always tell him, like, with things like this, I was like, man, you gonna have to make it plain as day for me, like a neon sign. You just gotta make it plain as day, because a lot of people has asked me, was I gonna still get out of the military, or was I getting out? Well, was I gonna stay in the military, or was I gonna get out? And I was like, man, I don't know. And then I just so happened to have, man, just a good, godly, wise counsel of my therapist. Y'all, my therapist is one of those things I talked about in my last episode 4, where I was talking about the power of prayer. Like that prayer, one of my prayers was, I pray to God to have a good, godly, wise, like, therapist. And man, I'm telling you, the power of prayer is real, and he answered it. And I felt like one of my sessions, she had asked me, like, what did I had any plans to do outside the military, or was I going to extend? And at the time, I was like, honestly, I don't know, because I was like, that I declined my offer with the police department, and I was like, I just felt stuck, like I don't know what to do. And so, man, this wise counsel, she said, well, I think it's wise that you stay in the military until at least after this divorce. Yeah. And y'all, guess what happened? I extended in the military. Yeah. But looking back on that, that was the that was one of the wisest decisions I have done thus far. Now that I got a federal job, pays pretty good, pretty decent and stuff. Stable income, just stability is the biggest thing. Is stability, especially in the midst of all this chaos. Need to have some type of stability. That was super wise. One of the best decisions ever. But like, it's just dealing with that uncertainty. Like a lot of people that I definitely understand it, like just being in the midst of that uncertainty. Like it causes some people to panic or try to force things. But with you panicking, when you're panicking, you're thinking in your emotions and you're not making sound or wise decision making. And that's when you start, messing up like your life or whatever you got going on. But or you're trying to force things to happen, and you just gotta sit and just be still. Sit and be still. Just sit and wait on the Lord. You call on Him and you ask Him, where do you want me to go? What do you need me to do? I'm giving it all to you. Where do you want me to go? Like it said in Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 and 6. It said, trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. And in all your ways, acknowledge Him and He will make straight your paths. Man, I had so many forks in my paths. It's ridiculous, but man, he made it straight as day, just a straight line. And it's like, I mean, it's like no other. Like just like, man, I got testimonies for days, and I can't wait till once the divorce process is actually over with, where I can actually dive into it really deeply, and where I'm able to say stuff. But right now, since it's still in progress, I can't talk about the facts of the case. And even like also too with it was man another man is I'm telling you, God has been doing his big one for real. Another instance was me. So I had got served. I got served with divorce papers, and I already knew ahead of time. I was like, oh, attorney is gonna be super super expensive. And I'm thinking at the time, I just moved into a new location. And I'm like, okay, I just moved out the marital house, the marital home. And I did that for my own sanity. So I won't go crazy enough. I mean, it's too many memories up now. I'm like, I gotta get up out of there. So I moved out of the home, and this was way past. Never mind, I ain't gonna get into it. But anyways, I moved out of the home, and now I got my own place, and got served with divorce papers. And I'm like, okay, how I'm gonna get the money to pay for an attorney? I don't know if anybody that just dealt with anything with dealing with the legal system or anything like that. Attorneys, lawyers are not cheap at all. So I'm thinking, okay, how am I gonna get? I got 30 days to retain a lawyer, and I'm like, man, where am I gonna get the rest of this money from? Because I had it, man. The lawyer I have, her retainer is a certain amount, and I'm like, okay, I can cover half of it right now. But I was like, where? I'm missing the last little bit, and I'm like stressing, like, oh my goodness. I'm like, where can I get this from? This last little bit from? I'm doing little odds and ends and stuff, and man, it's one thing, just one thing led to another, and like my mom had told me like too, and it was also during that period of time is when I had took a break from the podcast. And my mom pointed out that every time some kind of bad happens or some bad event happens, it kind of distracts me from doing this podcast. And she was like that if you focus on doing God's work, preaching the gospel, encouraging others, if you focus on the kingdom, the Lord is gonna provide everything up. And I'm like, okay. So I that's when I just dug in deep with this podcast and was just like just building it up, making it better, putting out episode after episode after episode. And then all of a sudden, I think I had less than 15 days left. Like this is nothing short of a miracle, and just a family member. I can't thank her enough. Have fronted me like the last remaining little bit of what was needed for to retain the lawyer. And man, I can't thank God enough for that, because it honestly it came out the blue with that bit. I was not with that bit, and I was not thinking about it at all. And I'm like that's like one of the things where just having faith is knowing and realizing that you don't have all the answers. And so you have to trust and believe in God that He has the answer for you that you need. You just gotta be able to trust Him. He just wants you to trust in Him. And it's just, man, it's still, it's this entire case is like just mind blowing, because it's literally like miracle after miracle after miracle, like testimony after testimony after testimony. I could honestly just write a book on this entire journey. And I tell people all the time that me dealing with this case, the world will say it's coincidences. It's like coincidence after coincidence after coincidence. Nah, buddy, not at all. This is God's divine hand in this entire case. And all I have to do is just be faithful, be steadfast, and just don't do anything that's not pleasing to Him. I just keep my eyes on Him, keep my eyes on the kingdom, and He will always provide like He always has. Whatever you're going through, He will go through it with you, right by your side. He would never leave you there. And you just gotta have that daily practice of surrender. Because I know a lot of people is probably like me. Like for every process, I want to know A through Z. I'm gonna tell you something about God. He ain't gonna give you A through Z. He's gonna give you, because if He gave you A through Z, what you need Him for? He wants us to rely on Him. So He may just give you A, B, C, D, and you just gotta trust and believe that He's gonna finish the rest for you. And you gotta be okay with that. You gotta have that faith not to see all the way to the other side. You just gotta have that faith to see what's in front of you and trust and believe in Him that He's gonna finish the rest for you. And so you just gotta trust in the Lord with all your heart. Like Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5 said, trust in the Lord with all your heart. But man, it's man, I wish I could just share this entire thing with y'all. But yeah, a day will come for that. And I just want this to just encourage people. Like, it's one of the things people always talk about, like, Lord, I see what you done for others. Lord, I wish you could do for me. And I just want people to see that, look what He's done for me. What He done for me, He can definitely do for you. And you just got to have faith that it can be done. Because, man, you may not know what's next, but He's gonna walk with you every step of the way.